Okay, welcome everybody to the call. I appreciate your time, especially if you were just up watching the Super Bowl. I know that was exciting. My team won. We're having a good time, but those of you that are very serious about wanting to learn and just take your education to the next level, I definitely appreciate you taking the time out of your night or day, wherever you are around the world, to get on this webinar and invite your friends just to make sure that not only are you, educating yourself and growing your skill set, but that you're also helping your team and making sure that every single person on your team is winning and every single person knows what they're doing, from the basics all the way up to those that want to become very skilled in the um, in the industry of trading. So, hey Josh, are you on the call by any chance? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. Can you hear
All
me?
right. Absolutely awesome. Guys, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Luke Shula. I live in South Florida and I've been trading Forex for about 11 months now. I gave it a bit of time, about 3 months of just practicing and studying, every single day for hours before I even started, trading live with real money. So I gave myself a lot of time to study. I wanted to learn what I was doing. I saw the opportunity of the Forex market and said, if I could learn how to trade, I could actually click buttons on my phone and make money the rest of my life. The Forex market will always be here, and that's so cool because the fact that I can never be fired is absolutely awesome. So I want to help you guys get to the next level, and achieve high levels of success through trading. And so we also have other traders that we're going to be featuring on these calls. And so today, Josh is on the call with us, and he's up in New York. He's been very, he's had a lot of success in the forex market, has a lot of extensive knowledge of the markets, and is here to help you guys. Just educate you guys on the news and the way that global events affect the market. And he even wants to talk a little bit about midweek reversals. So Josh and I are kind of just going to go off of each other here and provide as much value as we can in the next 50 minutes or so. And then what we're going to do is we're going to open up for Q&A right after that. But in the meantime, we want to engage with you guys as much as possible. So feel free, ask questions in the chat box, all right, and we'll answer those as we go. So Josh, um, you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Awesome. Yes, sir. Go ahead and take it away,
Awesome,
brother.
awesome. Appreciate that, man. Definitely glad to be on here tonight with all you ladies and gentlemen. If you're new, real quick question. Just a little heads up, guys. If you hear any background, any feedback in the back, I'm spending some time with my family tonight, so you might be hearing a couple noises here and there. So if it does get to a point where it's a little too loud, just let me know. I'll take care of it. All right. So real quick question for everyone that's on here tonight. If you're on this webinar for the first time, could you please do me a huge favor and type 1. If this is your first time, your first webinar, just type 1 on the chat so I'm aware who's new. Okay. All right, so we got a couple of new people on the webinar. Awesome. So if you've been on these webinars before, okay, for those of you who've been here before, just press 2. All right, so I know who's been here before. Okay. Awesome. So it looks like guess we're kind of even. So pretty much what I want to do real quick is I want to let you guys know, for the ones who are new, all right, for those of you who are new, this is your first webinar here. I want you to be aware that there might be a couple of stuff that I'm going to be covering that you might not understand right away, as far as reversal patterns, as far as midweek reversals, the news, the economy, how the economy affects the market and things like that. It might be stuff that you might not understand right away. So what I would definitely recommend, as soon as you get off of this webinar, or as soon as this webinar is over, or possibly tomorrow even when you have time, to definitely go back to the WG Forex group, all right, the Facebook group, and definitely look at the first 3 webinars, the first 4 webinars that we've had already, which pretty much breaks down everything from setting up your MetaTrader 4 platform the right way, to understanding the basics of candlesticks, how to plot support and resistance, utilizing trend lines, things like that, looking for the best possible entries in the market when you want to trade. So that way, once as you catch up to the webinars, you have a better idea of what it is that we got, that we go through every time we get on here. So just want to let the new people know that. So pretty much what I want to talk about tonight with you guys, I don't want to be all over the place. I just want to keep everything as organized as possible. Is obviously we know the market opened up to today, right? 5 o'clock, 5 p.m. The market's open 5 p.m. on Sundays, closes at 5 p.m. on Fridays. All right, so I'm going to say that one more time for those who are new on here, don't know that. The foreign exchange market, is open from a Monday through from Sunday through Friday. All right. The foreign exchange market closes on Friday at 5 p.m. and it opens on Sunday at 5 p.m. All right. So just remember that because it's actually very important, when it comes to trading. Now, one of the things that I look at when the market opens, and I'm gonna just share my screen with you, ladies and gentlemen, so you can actually see what I got going on here. Okay, so if everybody could just let me know if you see my screen, could you just let me know? Awesome. Great. Glad. All right. Awesome. That's good. Okay. So pretty much like I said, one of the things that I definitely look at when when the market opens, and I don't do this throughout. Like I don't do this as soon as the market opens because let's be honest. As soon as the market is open, there's not really any movement going on. There's no spikes to the high, spikes to the low. There's no really price is barely moving. It's what traders like to call trap days, right? Sundays, Mondays, and Fridays are considered trap days. Basically, trap days meaning that because there's little to no movement, PIP movement in the market, you don't want to pretty much start to trade because you're going to get trapped. And what happens is when you get trapped in the market, your chances of making profits are pretty much slim to none, and your chances of losing money, right, losing what you're investing, it begins to increase because you're getting trapped in the market. All right, so that's pretty much what traders we go by. Trap days, like I said, I'm going to repeat that again. Trap days are Sundays, Mondays, and Fridays. All right. Does that mean you don't trade those days? A lot of people will tell you not to, including myself. I would tell you guys don't trade on those days, but of course there's always people who wouldn't want to like to take risks and stuff like that. So that's also why that's when risk management really comes into play, is when you really want to try to go against the odds and everything. But yeah, so as you guys are looking at right now, Forex Factory, I love this website. Pretty much keeps me up to date as far as what's going on in the economy, the global news. All right, people's trades, going off of fundamental analysis. You have weekly Forex forecasts. Just regular people like ourselves, or people who have been actually trading in the markets for several years or several months, and they actually upload news statements. They upload their own analysis on what's going to happen in the market with certain currency pairs and stuff like that. So I like to look at this type of information because it gives me a better idea as to what I can pretty much expect throughout the week. Now, I don't do this for every single currency pair. There's just a couple of currency pairs that I focus on. So oftentimes when we want to trade, right, you want to trade on your own, the one thing that you don't want to do is, I mean, I'm no expert at the end of the day, but trust me, I've blown 4 accounts in my past, so I know exactly what I'm saying sometimes. But as far as trading on your own, it's like you want to make sure that you don't just you don't just go in blindly. You don't just trade blindly. You want to be a patient trader. You want to be disciplined. So obviously for me, I like to focus on one currency pair at a time. I don't like to just put too much on my plate. It never really works out. So if anybody here is actually new to Forex, or anybody that just wants to master how to trade on their own, I would definitely just work on mastering one pair. Just work on one pair, whether it's Euro USD, whether it's USD CAD, whether it's AUD USD, NZD USD, doesn't matter. Just make sure that you figure out, you find one pair, all right, and you study that pair, and you master that pair. You learn how to trade it. You learn how to get better at it. All right. So that's pretty much what you want to do, because a lot of people then they start trading. They're like, I want to trade this. I want to trade that. I want to trade this. I want to make a lot of money. Yes, everybody wants to make a lot of money, but what happens is when you put too much on your plate, it's just you can't handle all of that, especially when you don't have the necessary knowledge to be able to start trading all of these pairs. So try,
Absolutely.
just
And Josh, let me
right.
go off let me go off of that really fast, because that's something that's really big for beginners that I definitely talk about. Is I tell people when they get started to go ahead and start placing trades on their demo account. Even before they join WG, I'll have them download that on their demo account and start just practicing and playing around with it. But for especially for members, what I do is I tell them to, after they've placed some trades, send me a screenshot of their closed trades so that I can help give them some tips on, how to, just improve a little bit. And one of the most common mistakes that I see people making as a beginner is they're trading like 5 or 6 different currency pairs at a time. So just to help you guys understand why that's not a good idea for beginning, even though you could do that in profit, is this. You have to understand that a currency pair is one country's currency versus another country's currency. So different things will affect each currency pair in different ways. So for you to manage, more than one or two currency pairs at a time, you have to be looking at a lot more stuff going on, and all the different charts move different ways. So, and a real life example of why this is just really hectic and crazy for you. I always use this example, and it's kind of silly, but for those of you out there that are adults or have children, it'll make sense. But I use this example. If you have three little kids and one sitting there, who, he just peed on the floor and he's sitting there crying. So that's kind of crazy. And then one kid just ran outside. He might get hit by a car. Who knows? And then the other one is, I don't know what he's doing. He's just crying somewhere. Then, like, how on earth can you handle all three at the same time? You got a kid crying, a kid that just used the bathroom, and one running out the door. It's impossible to really handle them all. But if you are only handling one of them at a time, then it's easy to fix that solution. The kid that's crying, give him a pacifier. The kid that used the bathroom, clean them up. The kid that's running outside, grab them, make sure they're safe. You know what I mean? So using that example, just understand that it's really hard to keep track of so many things, and you really just want to focus down on one thing. So those of you that know me and how I trade, Euro USD is definitely that's my baby right there. I really just focus really a lot on that one currency pair, most commonly traded pairs, because I think about 30% of trades are Euro USD. And the reason for that is that the euro and the US dollar are two of the most stable currencies in the world. And so they're going to follow patterns a lot better, which means that it'll be a lot more consistent. With other currency pairs, like what's called a cross pair, which would not include the US dollar, say the Australian and Canadian dollar, that's a cross pair because it does not include the US dollar. Different currency pairs like those, you might make some money with them and you might see a pattern, but they're not going to be as consistent and can break that pattern more easily. So, anyways, yeah, sorry for interrupting, Josh, but I just wanted to add that in there. Focus, definitely what he's saying is absolutely true. Focus on one currency pair at a time. If you really have trouble mastering that currency pair, then try another. Just do one at a time until you find something you're comfortable with, and then work with that.
Yep, that's absolutely true. Thanks a lot for that input, Luke. Definitely appreciate that. Just to give you, ladies and gentlemen, a little bit of info about my trading experience because, I want everybody here, I want to know who has already made the mistakes that I've made in the past, and I want to know who hasn't. That way you won't ever make that mistake. So when I first began trading Forex, of course, I haven't been trading it as long as Luke has, but when I've started trading Forex, what I did, I remember funding my account with about 300 bucks, right? And what I did was with that account that I funded $300 on, I had a broker. My broker actually gave me a credit. I had credit. So what I did was I actually got really ahead of myself because I said, okay, cool. So I pretty much got about 150 bucks of credit, and now, matching, adding up to like what, $450, right? So now I have $450 to trade, and now I'm getting, that's at that time I was getting ahead of myself. I was beginning to trade mini lots. I wasn't even trading micro lots, which is what WG emphasizes on a lot when it comes to risk management. Is like, do not get ahead of yourself. The point is to generate wealth. The point is to have your money working for you, because at the end of the day, that's money that no one is going to give you for, out of nowhere. You know what I mean? That's money that you didn't have to work for. So I didn't understand that value. I didn't understand the value behind that. So what I went ahead and did was, I looked at a pair, right? I looked at a pair. I can't remember exactly what pair it was, but I looked at one pair specifically, started putting my mini lots on that one pair, and, I was making some profits for like the first 10 seconds, and then I began losing. And what happens there is when you start to go through your first, second, third loss, you're like, dang, like I just, I lost money, so I need to make that back, right? Because, naturally that's what us as human beings, we don't like to, we don't like to go through things like that. We don't like to lose, basically. We don't like to lose. We like to win. So what happens is, with me, when I was losing those trades, I was like, I need to make this back before the day ends. So what am I going to do? I'm going to, place smaller lot sizes, but I'm going to place more orders, which didn't make a lot of sense either. So, ultimately, long story short, I end up blowing my first account. All right, I had to fund my second account with like $200. Same thing again, guys. I just, it's really crazy because, when you're just focused so much on just profit, 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 you end up seeing a lot more losses than you actually do prosper. So, what I tell everyone is, including the people on my team, is like, take things one step at a time. Have trust in the process, follow the system, all right, be coachable and be disciplined. A disciplined trader disciplined traders are the ones who actually make the most money, who profit the most in the market. So let's say, for example, you can't, you got to treat your trading like a business, right? Sometimes you got to treat it like a business. So, of course, if you're going to come into the market and you're just going to play around with money, you better have buku bucks in order to do that, because, the market, it eats you up and it throws you right back out, right? So sometimes you just got to be very disciplined about how you trade. You got to be very, organized and not just jump into different types of trades, because trust me, it can really mess you up. All right, so back to the news. All right, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to the news, like I said, Sundays, not not really a lot of movement going on. If not, there's literally nothing going on. So what I like to do on Sundays is I literally like to just look at the news for the first 2 days, and I make my own expectations. I make my own predictions as to what can possibly happen. So this is I'm literally watching this right now for the first time with everybody on this webinar. So I'm looking at JPY, the Japanese yen, right, has news. We have news for the Japanese yen at a 12 a.m., which we're going to have a low impact. We're expecting to have a low impact in the market, and this is pretty much the detail of the news that's going on. Economy watcher sentiment. All right, then we have news for the euro at 2 a.m., German industrial production. All right, low impact in the market. So with these different colors that you guys are looking at when it comes to Forex Factory, I want you guys to remember this website, by the way. Like, remember it, write it down, or just save the link or something. Remember it, because if it comes to the point where you want to trade alone, what happens is, if you get on a trade and all of a sudden you either blow your account or your account hits your stop loss in literally like 5 seconds, it's most likely because either the news created like a new spike to the upside, to the downside, or maybe just something had occurred in the economy where you just got stopped out. So you want to be aware of things like that. So in order to be aware, you definitely want to utilize tools like this Forex Factory, where pretty much this website, what it does is gives you the currency pair. All right, it gives you the currency, it gives you the currency, the news, and what type of impact that's expected to have on the market. All right, so you have anything from a low impact to a medium impact to a high impact, which is pretty much red. So yellows, you have the yellow colored boxes that you see here are described as the low impact. All right, the orange boxes are described as the medium impact. Those are currencies that are expected to have a medium impact in the market. All right, and of course the red is something that you want to keep an eye out. You're going to watch out for, because those are expected to have a high impact in the market. All right, so pretty much we're going to take a look at Monday. All right, February 8th. We're looking at Monday right now, and let's see, what I'm looking at is pretty much literally nothing good is really going on. To be honest with you guys, I don't really see anything good. I'm just looking at currencies having little low impact in the market, medium impact in the market. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, Sundays and Mondays, trap days. Nobody really trades. If anything, you get in on a trade and you're going to get trapped. All right, you won't get stopped out, but you will get trapped. So meaning you're going to be in constant profit loss, profit loss, profit loss. You're not going to be in one or the other. All right, you're just going to literally just be bouncing back and forth, and you don't be checking your screen every single minute, every single hour. You're going to be like, dang, I'm still in negative, whatever. So you don't want to do that, right? So let's take, for example, one of the pairs that I'm familiar with is the US dollar and the Japanese yen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my platform, and I'm going to go to the US dollar and the Japanese yen. I'm going to look at the furthest, the time frame furthest away as possible. If you guys are looking at these trend lines, it's just something that I have set from last week. All right, so if you're new, for those of you who are new on here, if your chart does not look like this, don't even worry about it. All right, I broke down how you can literally just copy exactly what I have on here onto your platform. Just got to watch the first webinar. All of that stuff is broken down. But back to the topic, guys. When it comes to USD JPY, let's see. I'm looking at USD JPY. I see that we have low impact in the market. let's see what it did last week. Actually, let's see how this closed out last week. Closed out, creating a new low. All right. So what I would do here, I would right away set my my trend line on support. I would create a level of support, and it actually looks, from what I'm looking at right now on a daily time frame, since every single candlestick represents a day, I'm looking right now that I'm looking something similar. I'm looking at a similar pattern that could possibly happen, which is where we looked at the 20th of August 2015. All right, you see how, you ladies and gentlemen, you see how this, you have this long wick to the downside. Price failed to continue going down. It actually had to, it literally just tested this level of support and bounced right back up, right, and it made its move up. Well, looking at it from this view, from today, right, from last week, how the market closed, it looks like price actually rejected, you know, a decline to continue to go to the downside. It didn't really want to go, you know, it didn't really want to break support, right? So what it did, you have all of these wicks at the bottom. They're pretty much pushing price upwards, right? So because what happens in the market often is what I tell everyone, you know, for those of you who are not new, who've been here before, at every single webinar, I tell you guys, the market literally does the same thing every day, all day, every week, every month. It just does the same thing. You just got to catch the highs and the lows. Now, one thing that I don't think I explained to everyone before is that the market, the reason why the market never goes up and never goes straight down, and you have what we call pullbacks or reversals, is because when you're buying, you're going to have someone that's selling. Even if you know that the price is going to continue to go up, you're going to have people that sell. All right. So, for example, over here, if you would have bought at this level, right? You would have bought this currency pair at this level, and you would have kept holding it. Right here, what's going on here is that people are selling, even though the price is going up, right? Even though the currency in the market is going up, people are still selling. Not to say they're naive. They're not naive. They're not crazy or whatever. They're selling because that's what creates the pullbacks. That's what creates the reversals, is the people in the market that are trading against you. All right, so that's something to always keep in mind, is that you're not everybody in the world who's trading Forex, who's trading the same exact pair as you, they're not trading alongside with you on the same, you know, they're not selling with you, they're not buying with you. There's people in the market who are literally trading against you, and that's what causes these pullbacks. The same thing as if you were to sell this currency pair at this level over here of resistance and wrote it down, the reason it could not break the support level was because you have buyers in the market. Although price is dropping, you still have people who are buying. So what the buyers do is the buyers actually cause they create that reversal. They create that pullback where they entice traders who are selling to get out of the market and collect either their profits or get stopped out. Okay, so that's why you always want to keep in mind that price is never going to drop straight down to the floor. It's never going to shoot straight up to the ceiling, all right? It has to have its pullbacks. It has to have its reversal. So what I tell people is, listen, even if you're making a couple of pennies profit, catch a good 10, 15 pips, all right? Even if it's a good 10, 15 pips a day, who cares? It's still a profit. You're making money, and that's money that you made based off your own knowledge, all right? And that's money that you can make basically just knowing the basics. All you need to do is know the basics, know the reversals, right? Know what the candlesticks represent, all right? Know what the wicks represent, most importantly, right? The trends, all right? Because the trend is your friend if you're trading with the trend. And the trend is your friend until the trend ends, all right? When a new trend forms, you got to watch out, all right? So you got to, you know, just it's really that simple, guys. You just, you know, keep an eye on the market, look for what's going on, the similarities. Now, are you going to see the exact same thing all the time? Absolutely not. But when you see something that's looking a little weird to you, like, well, I think I've seen this before, that's something that you want to analyze further and see, okay, let me look at the history of this currency pair. Let me see what, you know, what happened in the past that looks so similar to what I'm looking at today. All right, so that's pretty much, you know, what's going on over here, where price pretty much failed to break the support. So my guess, this is what I'm personally thinking, right? Because today is Sunday, right? So Sunday is literally no movement, literally little to no movement. This is live right now, like this is on a live account, and the price is barely moving. All right. So my thing is, because there's little impact in the market, there's nothing really going on. You have U.S. news as well. You got U.S. dollar news. You have Japanese yen news. All right. So my thing is, for London, because London is where price starts to move a little more, you start to see a little more movement in the market. I predict that for tonight's London session, the U.S. dollar and the Japanese yen could possibly continue to head upwards. All right, and throughout the rest, maybe tomorrow Monday, let's see, tomorrow, well, of course that's for tonight on Monday, but tomorrow Tuesday, you have US news, all right, with a medium impact. You have from low impact to medium impact. So what could happen then is, since it will be Tuesday, what could happen is that the market, this currency pair could possibly begin to test this trend line again. It could test this level of support, and if it doesn't break, then we could be looking at an upwards trend for the midweek reversal. But midweek reversal is what pretty much in the middle of the week, that's where the price in the market literally changes. All right, so I believe that one of my mentors who trades in the market, his name is Steve. He says that most of the time midweek reversals will happen, where if throughout the week you're looking at a currency pair dropping, on Wednesday, late Thursday, that currency pair is going to switch. It's going to change. So instead of it continuing to drop, it's going to start to reverse, and price is going to start to rise. All right, vice versa. If the currency pair has been rising from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday night, or Thursday morning, it can begin to reverse and head towards the opposite direction. All right, so does everybody understand what I'm saying so far? What I've been, explaining from the beginning about the news, trap days, this example over here, how we're looking at this currency pair, and we literally see that price could not break this level of support. You see the wicks are pushing price upwards, so we can pretty much make that prediction, that assumption, that educated guess that price is going to move upwards. So does everybody pretty much understand what I'm telling you guys so far, as far as the news, as far as like understanding the trap days, and pretty much when to trade, when not to trade in the market? Does everybody understand everything so far? Any questions? Any
Go ahead and
comments?
type yes if you do. But also Jessica asked, what's the difference in colors? Is it broken down by days or trade level? The colors that you see on these candlesticks on the chart that he's showing, the green means that the price is moving up and the red means it's moving down. And then each candlestick on this chart is equal to 1 day of the market. So each candlestick stands for 1 day and whether it went up or down, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So midweek reversal, you can pretty much tell by observing the currency pair. So like I said, when you focus on a currency pair, you're not going to look at it. I mean, it's not something that you have to be staring at all day long, but of course you want to see what it does throughout the sessions that have the most PIP movement. So for example, I look at my currency pairs before London and after London. So then I see, okay, this is what it did before London, this is what it did after London, and now I'm going to make my prediction as to what it's going to do again before London, and then I'm going to make my prediction as to what it's going to do after London. All right, and what happens is usually in the midweek it reverses. All right, so let's say prices go up session before London, Sydney session, right? Price goes up throughout London, it drops. All right, let's say after London it goes up again, and then it drops during London. Midweek reversal comes, price continues to go to the downside, boom, reverses. For the London session, it starts to head upwards. Sometimes that's what happens. It's like that's what the midweek reversal is when price literally just completely just changes direction. And that's often what I was telling you guys before. That's when a trend pretty much comes to an end and a new trend is formed. All right. So looking at a higher time frame is actually one of the best ways that I like to figure out when the midweek reversal is happening. I look at the high of the week, the low of the week, the low of the day, the high of the day, and that pretty much helps me also as well determine when a midweek reversal is coming, if it's going to happen or not with the currency pair that I'm taking a look at, and things like that. But as far as the to add on to the question from earlier, all right, to the from where Luke had answered, I want everyone to know, if those of you who are new on here, because I know that there's a couple of new people on here, the market consists of two things. All right, so for those who are advanced traders on the chat, all right, I want you to tell everybody right now what the market consists of, and we've gone over this before. The market consists of two things, literally two things. So those of you who have already been on the webinars, please explain to everybody on here what the market consists of. We have one answer. Buyers and sellers. Yeah. The market consists of buyers and sellers. So Jessica, if that was you who asked that question earlier about the colors, the same way that Luke broke down, the bulls and the bears in the market, we have buyers and we have sellers, right? So when it comes to the sellers, sellers are the red candlesticks. Those are the bears. Sellers are the bears, right? And buyers are the bulls. All right, bulls are the ones are the buyers in the market who are pushing price up. So the more people that buy a currency pair, of course, the price is going to go up, right? More people that sell a currency pair. By the way, I'm speaking globally. This isn't just in the United States. The more people throughout the entire world that sell the exact same currency pair that you're selling, then the further down price is going to drop. Now, like I said before, when you have sellers, you're still going to have buyers. They're still going to have people that are trading against you, that are trading against the trend, and that's what causes price to have that pullback. All right, so always be aware of that. This is why I say if you're entering in the market and you're in profits, 10, 15, 20 pips, all right, you're going to move your stop loss. You're going to move it a lot closer to where your entry was, because if you don't make a profit, you can at least break even. That's actually what we're doing right now on our last WG trade that we got, because we're in profits. What the experts did was they told us to at least move up our stop loss, so if it goes the other way around, we can at least break even. All right, which is a pretty great strategy. Absolutely great to know that. It has a lot of value to know that. All right, so yeah. So as far as the time frames go, these are the different time frames. All right. Like I said, we've gone through this on the other webinars, so definitely take a look at that as well. Every single candlestick represents a time frame on here. So as far as that goes, that's pretty much how the news impacts the market. Now, I want
Yeah,
everybody to
and
get
really
this.
fast, we had a question concerning that before we move on. Poe
Yeah.
had said, how do you know with the news if it will affect it negatively or positively, if the news will come out and make it to go up or down?
Yeah, that's exactly that. To answer your question, um, I don't trade the news. I wait for the news to happen for me to get in on the trade. So what I'm basically trying to say is that the news is not is unpredictable. It really is unpredictable.
All right.
You have people who will make assumptions and will tell you, I think this is what's going to happen, this is what is not going to happen, which I've done that before. And some assumptions, some predictions are actually they happen, but you can't really tell exactly what it's going to do. For example, last week, the beginning of the month, right? Yeah, last week we had NFP, non-farm payroll, which is actually an event that occurs at the beginning of every single month, where price literally just skyrockets. It goes all over the place. It literally goes over the place. People, that's the one day of the month where people, investors who make 6, 7 figures trading forex, they go broke. That's the one day of the month where people literally who make thousands of dollars, they literally blow it all in one day in literally seconds. So it's why I tell everybody, do not trade NFP. The beginning of the month, you don't want to trade NFP. How do I know when NFP is going to happen? Very simple. You go on Forex Factory, and it'll literally tell you when, and it'll say NFP, the event NFP, and you'll see it's going to have a high impact on the market. So that's how you can be aware of when that's going to happen. So you can say, okay, shoot, I remember Josh said don't trade NFP, so let me not trade. Let me just observe what happens, and you will pretty much get a better idea as to what really goes on when the non-farm payroll, happens at the beginning of every single month. So
Yeah,
that's pretty
exactly.
much.
And
Mhm.
I definitely agree with you. Especially for people that are day traders, it's important that you're not trading news, and that if you're going to place a trade where you only plan to be in that trade for, a couple hours and then get out, just make sure that you don't have news coming out in the next 4 or 5 hours, so that won't affect your trade that you placed based off of the patterns that you saw. One other thing that I say is, yeah, when it comes to trading with news, I definitely don't trade right before, because using the program I use, I posted it earlier in this chat. I use a program called WBP Online Terminal, and it actually shows you whenever the previous reports came out, it shows you exactly what happened those times and what they predicted to do this time as well. So you can, if what it did last time and what they predicted to do this time is the same, it's more accurate and you can have a general idea of what it will do. But like Josh said, there's no way that it's guaranteed. And whenever that report comes out, by the time that you see what the report is, it's too late to place that trade, and you could already be in the negative, very much, depending on how much that news affected the market. So, Poe, to answer your question, um, you can use WBP Online Terminal. It'll show you what happened last time and what they predict to happen this time, but it's not going to be consistent. I would not trade the news. if anything, after the news report comes out, if it affects the market very strongly, sometimes you can get in on the back side of that, and as it retraces some, you can make some profits there, if that makes any
Yep.
sense.
hmm That's actually what I do sometimes. It's a pretty good strategy to do that because, like I said, market always has to pull back, always has to have its reversals. So you can take advantage of that. What I was gonna say is there's a website, guys, that I want you guys to all know. This is something that's helped me out a lot throughout my trading. When I first began learning forex, my mentor would literally, I could ask him a million things, and he would take me to the same thing every single day. How do I do this? Here, look at this. Is it the same website? Every single question was the same website as the answer. So I want to give you guys a website. A lot of you are familiar with this, and some of you may not be. Babypips.com. Phenomenal website. Really great for learning the basics of forex. All right. So it's what I want you guys to know is that this website actually I've been able to learn a lot, the basics from candlesticks, how to utilize indicators if I wanted to, price action at its finest, which is awesome, and using trend lines. Literally, what I'm doing right now, as Luke was abbreviating more on what we were talking about earlier, I was literally just setting up my support, my resistance, so I can see what's going to happen tonight on London session, and I can see what price is going to do, what price will, what level of support and resistance price will break, which level it won't break. That way I can get a better, as the week progresses, I can start, because it looks like this is the pair I'm going to be trading this week. So anybody else that wants to trade this pair with me this week, we can observe it together. We can make analysis together. We can absolutely, technical analysis, come up with, different types of possibilities that may happen, as the week progresses. But like I said, back to this website, babypips.com. Everybody, please remember that. Babypips.com. Somebody please type it on the chat right now. I want everybody to remember babypips.com is a really great website that teaches you the very basics of trading currency, teaches you the history behind Forex, teaches you, the candlesticks, reversal patterns, all of that. So you can actually test yourself. You can quiz yourself. All right, you can start. You could literally just learn the basics. You get a little bit of information. It's a lot of stuff. But you can quiz yourself. Okay, you can quiz yourself every time you finish a lesson, every time you finish a certain chapter. All right, right here you have the different chapters, and every time you finish the chapter, the subject, it's like going to school. When you go to school, you go to class, you study a certain topic, right? You're on the board. Objective for this week, objective for this month is to study this topic, blah blah blah. These are the topics, right? And this is the subject. So when you finish with the subject, you take the final exam, right? So what happens is you go through these subjects, right? You take notes, you read everything, you take the notes, and when you're finished, you take your quiz, all right? You quiz yourself. And that's a great way to remember everything that you're studying. That's a great way to instill, the differences between the uptrend, the downtrend, the higher highs, the lower lows, when to apply your support and resistance, the trend lines. Very useful. What you can do is actually set up a free account as well. And as you continue to progress, and for every lesson that you accomplish, you can literally just check it off, and that will pretty much keep you updated on how far you're getting, in your trading and your training. So it's pretty awesome. Definitely something that I want everyone here to utilize. And of course, this is something that you don't have to devote your entire time, your entire thing into. You can, literally do this at least 1 or 2 hours a day. All right, you can put some time into this, and you can literally take notes. All right, go over your notes, quiz yourself, and once you quiz yourself and you pass, go on to the next level. Don't cheat yourself. Just go on to the next level. Take your time. At the end of the day, you want to be a disciplined trader. You want to maximize your profits. You want to minimize your losses. So definitely, this is a great way to do that. All right. So everybody remember babypips.com.
Yeah, and with the videos and the education that you see, the videos that we have in the WG back office, definitely go through those, and also all the information that you review on babypips.com. When I talk to people that are like, yes, I'm serious, I want to learn how to trade, I want to be good at this, and I'm like, okay, well, have you watched the videos in your back office? And they say yes, but I ask them the basic things about Forex that you can, also see even on the screen right here for Baby Pips. I ask them the very basic things and they can't give me an answer, then, going through it or watching a video or reading, a page on babypips.com is one thing, but actually studying it, taking notes, reviewing it over and over and learning it is a totally different thing. So when I began trading, I looked at, Forex as if it was the last class that I ever wanted to take. And I said, I'm going to master this class. I'm going to learn every single thing that I can about this and be the best that I can be, and just review it over and over and over. So, don't just go through babypips.com or go through the videos in your back office, and not take notes. Like he said, you're cheating yourself if you do that, and you're only going to have half the picture and you're not going to retain it. So, notes is absolutely everything. Like you've heard many times in this industry, note takers are money makers. And the more that I do this, the more that I see how true that is.
Mhm. Absolutely, absolutely. So, yeah, man, that's absolutely true, guys. And I definitely want to, like I said from the beginning, your trading is like a business. You treat it like a business, all right? So obviously, unless you're someone who has a lot of money, who has buku bucks, and you have no problem losing a couple of hundred, a couple of thousand, then you want to treat your trading like a business. Don't treat it like a game. Treat it like a business. So you want to be as conservative as possible. You want to be as disciplined as possible when it comes to trading, so you know exactly how to maximize your profits. All right. So what I do is one of the things I do when I start to make my predictions throughout the week as to what's going to happen with a specific currency pair, I do a technical analysis. It's a strategy that I use. You have 3 different types of analysis. All right. Yeah. Any questions, please ask. If I'm moving a little too fast, let us know. Any questions whatsoever? All right, so until we wait for any questions, I'm just going to continue to move on forward. All right, and of course, if any questions, I'll just take a little pause and definitely get your question answered. So when it comes to technical analysis, is pretty much what technical analysis you can see is the framework in which Forex traders study price movement. So when it comes to technical analysis, I'm literally using my trend lines, support and resistance, to help me figure out exactly what type of moves that it's gonna go on in the market. So I simply just plotted my support and resistance, going to 1 hour, going to 4 hour time frame, and I begin to look for the, since this is a downtrend, ladies and gentlemen, we see that this is clearly a downtrend, yes. So what I would be looking for, it would be for my lower lows and my lower highs. And that's where I can place my support and where I can place my resistance. So I would place my resistance on my lower highs, which would be over here, right, where price literally created a new high and then dropped, right? And of course look for my lower lows where price created a new low and it had to climb back up. All right, so that's pretty much what's going on in the market, going on throughout the market the entire day, all day long. And what this pretty much does for you is, like, the way I look at it is like I use this map analogy, this car analogy, where if you were to go on a trip, look at this as a trip, right? Every time you're trading, you're going on a trip, right? And you don't want to get lost when you're going on a trip. So what you want to do is you want to actually have a map for yourself. That way you can pretty much stay on track. You don't go towards the wrong direction. So as you're pretty much have your map in front of you, guiding you as to what price is doing, you literally see how bright price is breaking through your levels of resistance or support. And that ultimately helps you come up with a better decision as to when you're going to buy in the market, when you're going to sell in the market. So if price is breaking support, you're going to sell. If price is breaking resistance, you're going to buy. Right over here, price broke support, 2 levels of support here, kept going to the downside, you would have sold. Right, even if you didn't close, you could have held it and caught some more pips. So that's pretty much what I use as far as technical analysis, support and resistance, my trend lines. Candlesticks, basically because it's just a lot easier to understand. I mean, for me personally, and a lot of people may agree, may not agree, which is completely fine. When it comes to the bar charts, it's not the same. It's just a little more advanced. Same thing with line charts. Although with line charts, it's actually, I used to use this in order to find out where to plot my support and resistance. I would just look for the highest peak right here. For example, all right. Market breaks resistance, we sell, correct? No. If market breaks support, that's when you want to sell. If it breaks resistance, you want to buy, because it's confirmation that price is heading towards either the upside or the downside. So look at support as the ground, as the floor, and look at resistance as the ceiling. Very simple way to put it. So if price broke through the ceiling, there's no reason for you to sell. All right. While there are people that are trading against you and are selling, you want to trade with the trend. You don't want to trade against it. All right. That's just that's just how basic trade, conservative traders trade. You want to be conservative. You want to make profits at the end of the day. So Yeah, I mean, guys, honestly, for this pair, for this USD JPY, US dollar, Japanese yen, this pair looks like, on the lower time frame, on the 15-minute time frame, it does look like it can actually bounce right back down and test this level of support again. And if it actually breaks above it tonight for London and it makes its move up, I believe that it can actually test over here this level of resistance. And it, at some point, probably during the midweek, later on either Wednesday or Thursday, late Thursday, what it could actually do is actually it could break through this level of support, I mean of resistance, and continue to work its way up and just literally just reverse completely. So that's something that I would be waiting for right now. I'm just waiting for price to break through this level of resistance and see what it does throughout London. If London it breaks through resistance again, that's great because that means that price is already heading towards it's heading upwards, right? So what am I going to do? I'm going to look for a buy entry. I'm going to look for a good entry to buy, and I'm going to manage my risk, right? Of course, same thing if it breaks to the downside, and if it breaks support, and if it breaks this other level of support, right? If price continues to go down, it breaks these two levels of support, I'm going to sell because price is going down. It's not going to come up, not yet anyway. So you want to sell, take advantage of the drop. So that's what you're going to do, all right? And that's pretty much how I utilize technical analysis. Once you guys get to this on babypips.com, it's literally going to make a lot more sense to you. You'll be able to understand it better. All right, so you have, like I said, fundamental analysis, sentimental analysis, different types of analysis that you can use in the market to help you come up with, better entries and better exits and stuff like that to
Yeah,
determine what is it that you feel more comfortable
if
with.
you look at the chart that you have right now, that Josh has pulled up right now, you'll notice that the support and resistance lines basically create what I call a channel, and you'll see these little channels that the candlestick starts to create, where it kind of just bounces back and forth from the top to the bottom in that area, and then you'll notice that the midweek reversals, it'll sometimes break out of that channel and then create a new trend. So to answer Christian's question, yeah, I mean, if it breaks through resistance, which is the ceiling, then it's going to actually continue to go up a little bit because that's a new trend that it created. And if it's breaking through support, which is the floor, then it's going to go down some and create that new trend.
Yep, absolutely, absolutely. So, is there actually any other questions that you guys may have as far as to the news, or looking for a good entries in the market or anything at all? Is there any pairs that anybody has in mind looking at this week? We can actually do that right now. I mean, it's Sunday. Sunday there's not really a lot of movement. We've covered the basics on our previous webinars. So if there's any pairs that anybody wants to keep an eye on, we can actually see if we can analyze that, make some predictions for the night, see what could happen, and tomorrow we wake up, let's see if we're on the money. All right, so, all right. Let's see. Let's look at Euro USD because I know somebody mentioned that. All right. So I already had my trend lines from last week placed on here. So let me see. See what it did last week. Actually, I want to see what it did last week. Yeah, absolutely. Looked like, yeah, I actually remember a lot of people bought last week the euro because it was actually broke through resistance heading upwards. Midweek reversal right here, guys. Price was dropping. It was literally just bouncing off this trend line, not really breaking either up to the upside or to the downside. It's just doing its thing here. Then it finally broke out to the upside. So that was the midweek reversal that we had going on. And let's see, for today, I mean, it's going to be my thing. Here's my thing, right? See this wick at the top pushing price downwards? Euro USD is going to drop for the night. That's my assumption, just point blank. It's going to drop for tonight for London session. It's already 12 o'clock, all right, and London opens in what, 2.5 hours. So my prediction is that it's going to drop for the night, and then tomorrow for the New York session, New York does the opposite of what London does. So most likely it's going to start to have its pullbacks to the upside. All right, does that mean you guys should trade tonight? Absolutely not, because I'm no expert. That's just pretty much my own assumption. And sometimes that's pretty much all it takes, for you to know what price is going to do. You just look at the wick. Wick is pushing price downwards, so you can pretty much say, this is on a daily time frame. It's pretty much pushed price downwards since the market opened. So at this point, it's not going to reverse. There's barely any movement going on. It's not going to reverse. It's not going to pull back all the way up here. It's not going to happen. It has to drop. It has to drop. and tomorrow at 5 p.m. the daily candlestick is going to close and a new daily candlestick is going to open. All right, so that's pretty much what I have today for you guys. This upcoming week, really want to make sure we start trading live with everyone. We want to see you working on that, making sure it all works. USD CAD. All right, real quick, USD CAD. You guys know USD CAD and AUD do the exact opposite of each other, right? Check this out. 4-hour time frame. You see this? Yes, priest asking me questions. All right, check it out. AUD, USD, USD CAD. You guys see the similarity? Type yes if you do. I'm gonna keep flashing back and forth. See how it's completely opposite? So when USD CAD is dropping, AUD USD is going up. When AUD is going down, USD CAD is going up. The opposite. So there you go. Now you know exactly how to take advantage of two pairs at the same time. Pretty cool. So USD CAD looks like it's gonna drop. It may drop a little, but I see it overall going up. I definitely see this going up. I don't see USD CAD breaking these levels of support. Not now anyway. It has to make its way up. It has to come up. We have this hammer over here that formed, so pretty much letting us know that upwards, that the upwards trend is coming. AUDJPY. Cool. I already have my trend line on this. You see how price is testing this trend line, bouncing off of it. Boom, boom, boom. So looks like it may break. It may create a new low. It has to create a new low, and then it may test this trend line again, bounce off of it, and you could trade with the trend. Trade with the trend. Nah, I don't recommend trading at all tonight. Not either buying or selling. I think my thing is my assumption is that USD CAD is going to go up tonight. For London session is going to climb up. If not, it'll happen for New York session. That's my assumption. But for AUDJPY, it looks like a W formation, a double bottom. For those of you who do not know what it is, look at the previous webinar that we had going on. It breaks all of that stuff down. So looks like a double bottom forming on a daily time frame. So like I said, it has to come down, may retest this level of support, and boom, test this level of resistance, test this trend line again. You can catch a good entry off of that. So definitely keep an eye on that pair for the remainder of the week. Thanks a lot for calling that out. So 5 minutes left into the session. Any last questions, comments, concerns? All right, cool. So pretty much going to wrap it up here. Luke, is there anything that you would like to say before we actually end the webinar?
Well, as always, I just want to encourage everybody to stay consistent and continue studying hard and practicing and asking questions. One of our mentors, Ness, who is, a mentor of Josh and I, and, a huge leader in the company, he always says that the quality of your life is based off of the quality of your questions. And I totally agree. There's no such thing when it comes to this as a bad question. Some people, sometimes you'll be afraid to ask a question because you're like, oh, it seems so basic, it seems like a bad question. I don't know if this is good or anything like that, but never say that to yourself. Everyone started somewhere. When I started, I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. And, I asked a lot of questions, and that's how Josh and I got to where we are now. So, just ask questions, reach out to leaders, reach out to people that know what they're doing. Make sure that you're consistently on these webinars. These webinars are all consecutive. Everything that we teach on these is consecutive. It's built off of the first webinar, the second, the third, the fourth, and so on and so forth. So if you heard anything on this webinar that you're not familiar with yet, most likely it's something that's actually pretty simple and that we've probably covered in a previous webinar. So make sure that you're added to the WG Forex Facebook page. If you're not, reach out to your sponsor. Make sure that you're added to it. Let's make sure everyone is added in there. Add your team as well. Go through all the webinars that we post in there. Ask questions. Stay consistent. Study hard. And guys, let's grow. Let's build a future. Let's build a retirement. Let's get that extra stream of income coming in. Make your money work for you. And let's make history. I'm excited, guys.
Awesome, awesome. All right, guys, everybody have a great night. And Tomorrow we'll see what happens with the pairs that we were looking at tonight: AUD, JPY, USD CAD, and Euro USD. Let's see what happens. Let's see if my predictions were correct. All right, everybody have a great night. Talk to you guys soon. Luke, you could end the recording if you're
Yep.
done.
As always, everybody, thank you so much for your time. Thanks for joining. Have a blessed night. Take care. Bye.